Hey, what's going on? How are you doing today? It's your Uncle Steve here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. This is the Monday Minutia, where we're going to talk sports, Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta Hawks, a little bit of Braves, and a lot of bit of entertainment here on the Monday Minutia with Uncle Steve. And we celebrate a couple of great birthdays today. My mom, happy birthday, Mom, and the great Stevie Wonder. So, for the next hour, let's see what your favorite Stevie Wonder songs are compared to mine, which I guarantee you my list is probably longer. Let's talk about it, y'all. Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome into Uncle Steve's Lounge on a Monday. We call it the Monday Minutia here. We are glad to have you stopping through the lounge to see how everything is going today in the world of sports, entertainment, and just plain fun. I am your host, Uncle Steve. Appreciate you stopping by. If it's your first time coming in, welcome in. If you get a chance, please subscribe to the channel. We would appreciate it as we're going into a lot of things going into the off season after this upcoming schedule release. I'm pretty sure it'll be a lot of downtime between things, but just get subscribed now. So by the time the season starts, you'll be able to share in all the fun, all the entertainment, all the news, and things of that nature. And man, we have some pretty good NFL news today. A couple of them could have a tie to the Atlanta Falcons. So we'll try to make that correlation here in the next couple of minutes. Appreciate everyone joining us in here today. I wanted to go by the NFL headlines we'll get to a couple of those stories first before we dip into anything Falcons. And as usual, the floor is yours if you want to ask any question about the Atlanta Falcons coming in. If you want to talk about the Atlanta Hawks and the number one pick and man, oh man, what an opportunity we have to turn around the franchise right now. I think it's we can really do some things. Does that stop the thought of getting rid of Trae Young? That's something to think about as well. The Atlanta Braves couldn't quite finish the sweep of the New York Mets, but nevertheless, a pretty good week coming off of the West Coast disaster a week ago. We got 4 out of 5 wins. Can't complain about that. And also today is one of the greatest artists in music history. And I know I talk a lot about, artists and great artists and things of that nature. But this guy here not only is probably one of the greatest artists of all time. He shares a birthday with my mom. So first, happy birthday, Mom, who this birthday thing of hers is kind of like a little bit of a jip because she gets to celebrate Mother's Day yesterday. And then now she goes into happy birthday. So she gets the best of both worlds. But happy birthday, Mom. Love you. Appreciate you. And thanks for always supporting your son and supporting me even in this endeavor. So I appreciate that from you. And the aforementioned artist today, his birthday, is Mr. Stevie Wonder. And Stevie Wonder is by far not even close. I have a lot of artists I have respect for, a lot of artists that I keep up with, but Stevie Wonder is without a doubt my absolute favorite artist of all time. Uh, and I don't know, it's going to be hard pressed for you to find a song I don't know by him. If it is, it's something totally obscure. Uh, and even with the obscure ones, I'm pretty sure I'm up to date on those. But that's what we'll have today. Not only along with sports talk, I'd like to know your favorite Stevie Wonder songs. I have, it's probably too many, and it probably depends on my mood during the times. I know a lot of times, I'm in a kind of a nostalgic mood. I go back to kind of like vintage Stevie, which was really when I was a kid, when you were talking about more of the, superstitious, you know, kind of Golden Lady, which Golden Lady is probably one of my top 5 Stevie Wonder songs of all time. Superwoman, which is really, really, that's like 70 or 1970 or 71 and everything. That's one of my top songs of all time. And then you get into the 80s where you had a lot of the more pop hits, the Part-Time Lover, I Just Called to Say I Love You, songs like that. It's really, it's really not too many Stevie songs I don't like. So the list can go on. And I haven't found too many individuals that would say, there isn't a Stevie song there isn't one Stevie song that I can't pick out of a crowd and say, oh, that's a pretty good one right there. I'm not trying to tell you like every one, but I'm saying there's at least one Stevie song that no matter what genre of music you listen to, that you can say, oh, that's my favorite one. So that's what we're going to do in honor of his birthday. We got a couple of Stevie Wonder inspired super chats here as well. So we'll throw those on the list. But before we get into that, y'all, just a couple of doing a little bit of homework here on the NFL. Jared Goff, for those of you who think about how much Kirk Cousins just made, Jared Goff just signed a contract extension, 4 years, $212 million. And I know a lot of times when they have these contracts, really it's more about the guaranteed money in these contracts. And I'm trying to find out the guaranteed part, but that's a lot of money. And they just signed St. Brown to the contract, so those two guys will probably be together for a while. Detroit, look, they doubling down. They say, hey, we got to the NFC Championship. Let's see if we can take this thing to the next level. Give them credit for doing their thing. In news that probably will interest the AJ Terrell camp, Anton Winfield has signed the deal. 4 years, $84.1 million. That makes him the highest paid defensive back in NFL history. And I know he's a safety, but nevertheless, back in the secondary, that's still news to the secondary players that they're paying him that much money. I'm sure Jesse would love to go back to the table now after the year he had and say, hey, let's renegotiate, see what we got. But Winfield is all around there. I know he had a really good year. His first couple of years, he was very instrumental in that Super Bowl, especially during that Super Bowl run that Tampa made a couple of years ago. So give him a lot of credit as a safety to do that at this point. But that is really good news if, like I said, if you're AJ Terrell or even if you're Jesse Bates saying, hey, let me put another year together like this and let me see if I can renegotiate and get it a little bit above that. So congratulations, Mr. Winfield, and we'll be seeing him a lot in the near future. And then the NFL, of course, they're going to be doing their schedule release this Wednesday. And they already said that the opening game this year will be no surprise for the Kansas City Chiefs, kicking it off for the second year in a row. Last year they had Detroit. This year they will have the Baltimore Ravens in Kansas City, and Kansas City will kick off the NFL schedule as it should be. Those guys are the Super Bowl champs, and I mean, they deserve it. They deserve everything that they're getting. They're the best team in the NFL, and folks, it really would not surprise me. 100% would not surprise me if they run it back one more time. I hope they don't. I hope we can get in there somewhere and make our mark, especially in a NFC that I'm sorry, I'm still thinking the Atlanta Falcons, with the improvements we made, are still a team that should be able to challenge in the NFC, not only the NFC South, but in the NFC. No doubt in my mind that we can be talked about in that particular breath. So those are 3 headlines we got. If anyone has any questions on the Atlanta Falcons, again, please put them in the chat. For those of you who have any questions about those couple of things, Jared Goff getting signed, Anton Wingfield getting signed, and the leadoff game. And then also, again, Stevie Wonder's birthday today. Everyone make sure that you guys put your favorite Stevie Wonder song in there. And let's talk about that just a little bit. And we're going to go right to the chat. And before we even start off, we got 2 super chats in the house. I'm going to get my buddy Greg in here with one of these.
Isn't it lovely? Isn't it wonderful? The Falcons are ready. Let's get that Super Bowl.
My buddy
I
Greg.
appreciate the super chat, because we'll be right there.
But Greg is my guy. I appreciate him. Y'all make sure y'all check Greg out at Greg Custom Kicks. He's going to hook it up as he is talking to right now. He said, your shoes have been ordered, Unc. I'm going to do my best to try to match the truck. And I appreciate that, my friend. Again, and again, Greg, I appreciate you. It's another one from Greg.
I can tell you how I feel about your super chat. How I feel about it. Hey, hey.
Thank you, my friend.
I can tell you how I feel about your super chat. How I feel about you.
Greg has Superstitious for me, Unc. It hooked me from Vampire in Brooklyn. Man, I remember that movie. That's Eddie and Angela Bassett. Who would have thought that combined couple would have been in there? I appreciate you, Greg, and look forward to seeing in the next few weeks. We will show the final product. Greg's hooking me up with some away game shoes this year, so we'll keep you up to date without a doubt. Going back to the chat, Miss Francis Hunt Washington is in the house. She said, hey, Uncle Steve, happy birthday to Mom and to Stevie Wonder. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. And Demetrius says, what's going on, Uncle Steve? What's going on, Demetrius? He also says, happy birthday to Mom. Thank you so much. I don't know what happened to my little, I had my little sounder stuff in here. What happened? My sounder stuff had a little hand clap thing in there, but it doesn't want to work with me today. So let's see if we can get that started again. Sorry about that. David Stark said, what's up, Steve? Say happy birthday to your mother as well. So I hope she is listening and getting all this love on here as she deserves. Pull this down here. Demetrius also says happy birthday to your mom. So does Greg. Richard Russell says, isn't she lovely? That's really one of my favorite Stevie Wonder songs. I almost forgot about, when you start thinking about songs that you say favorites and everything, and then you get somebody that brings something up like Richard just did, Isn't She Lovely? That was definitely one of my favorite Stevie songs from the past. David Stark says Weakness off the Woman in Red soundtrack. And if you're not familiar with that, that was the soundtrack that I just called to say I love you came off of. He basically did most of that album with Dionne Warwick, and Weakness is absolutely one of the best duets. If y'all check out that with Dionne Warwick, that was a classic. Barbara, how are you today? Thank you for joining us here in the Monday Minutia. We appreciate you. Say hi, Unc, in chat. Favorite Stevie Wonder song is Jammin'. I'm assuming she's talking about Master Blaster Jammin', which again, can't go wrong. It's none of these songs that you can go and say, oh man, I don't know about that one. That might not be a great song right there, but these are all really good songs, man. I mean, Dondre, what's up? How you doing, brother? He says Stevie Wonder on the Cosby Show was the best show. Jamming on the one and jamming on the one. Oh yeah, when they did. Was it Denise that hit him in the car? Allegedly, Denise hit him, and they had to go to his studio or something like that. I thought that was pretty funny. That whole show right there. Yeah, that was definitely a classic. Dondre says Tua about to push the pocket. Oh, I'm talking about people who are happy today. Tua is ecstatic that Jared Goff got that contract. I mean, truly happy about that. He's about to get paid. Travis in the house. What's going on, Travis? Yeah, I think I got my sound stuff back. Thank you so much. He said, happy birthday, Mama Johnson. Favorite Stevie song is Part-Time Lover. And if y'all didn't know, in the background doing the that was Luther Vandross. A lot of people didn't realize that at that time. Luther Vandross did the background. He actually sang the last verse by itself too. That was, a lot of people thought that was Stevie, but that was Luther singing on that song. Honorable mention goes to Upset Stomach from the Last Dragon soundtrack. Now you talk about songs that are a little bit obscure, but yeah, absolutely. That was the little scene where the little evil Danny DeVito looking guy was trying to get them to play some of his songs at the little disco or wherever they were. But yeah, that was a really good one as well. Dondre says, I have strong feelings, young, about to pull a Julio Jones. Well, I don't know. Got too much money, man. Got way too much money. Way too much money. I don't know. I don't think he's just going to leave that and just quit. They'll get something for Trey if he wants to leave, but now, shoot, got one of the best young guys, get a chance to hook up with him. Yeah, I would stick around. John Higgins, what's going on, John? How you feeling today? He said, Uncle Steve, what's happening with you? Happy birthday, Stevie. It's a great time for the ATL. Falcons looking great as a team. Hawks #1 pick. Let's go ATL. Surprisingly, it's so funny. A few years ago, the other teams were down. Braves kind of so-so. Falcons were coming off the Super Bowl loss, and the Atlanta United were on top. Now, if you fast forward to today, again, the optimism with the Atlanta Hawks with the #1 pick, the Braves coming off 4 out of 5, the Falcons with a new roster coming into the year, new coach, and now the United have flipped it over. But we appreciate them, man. Lord ADS said, what up, old heads? What's going on, sir? How you doing today? He said, my mom loved Overjoyed and Sir Duke when I was a kid. Both songs, very good. Overjoyed is one of my favorite ballads. And Steve, that's the one thing about Stevie, man. Stevie will go ballad on you very quickly, and Overjoyed is absolutely one of the best songs that he's had. David Starks said also loves Sir Duke. That's another one on the list for Sir Duke. Raymond Collins is here. What's up, Raymond? He said, good morning and evening, Steve. Here is Here's your friendly laugh. What's up, Unc, and the birthday ones? Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Barbara says, happy birthday to your mom. So that's another one. Thank you so much. Dre is in the house. Favorite Stevie song, Dre says, is I Wish. A lot of votes for those songs right in those pockets. Not a surprise that I Wish and Sir Duke are getting love. That was probably one of the best albums he ever had. When you start talking about Stevie, that was a really good one. And John also says, oh, by the way, happy Mother's Day to your wife and mother. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, man. Aww. Thank you. I appreciate it. Barbara said, yes, Master Blaster jamming. Yeah, that everyone's feeling pretty. That's a good one. When he made that song, I want to say right after Bob Marley passed. I think it was right after that. So, yeah, that was a really good one. That whole album was really good. Lord ADS says, back in the day, Stevie Wonder was a hit maker. Do I Do, Ribbon in the Sky, All I Do, Send One Your Love, essential songs you should have grown up on. And I did. And those are songs that, I mean, I wasn't around, obviously, when Fingertips and I Was Made to Love Her came out, but I had appreciation. But growing up, really coming off that Fulfilling This First Finale album and was just 74, 75. And my dad used to play the junk out of Stevie Wonder. So not that I didn't want to listen to it, but it was just like you were surrounded by it. So I just got to really dive deep into how great he was at an early age. So when you start thinking about, dude, where does it end? Living for the City, Golden Lady, Higher Ground, Superstitious, You Are the Sunshine of My Life. It just doesn't stop. Ass, Knocks Me Off My Feet. I mean, I can go on and on, but I want you to go on. Y'all tell me some more. It's some really good songs out there from Stevie. And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like Stevie is at peak performance in concerts from a singing standpoint, but playing music and playing instruments and still on that harmonica. And Stevie is still out there doing his thing, man. And trying to think the last time I saw him too many times to name, but the last time my wife and I saw him, I think in Alpharetta at the amphitheater up there, and that was 2008, 9, something like that. And he was just on that tail end where his voice was there, but you could almost tell it was, getting ready. But hey, if you could still sing like he is, and hey, this year he's 74, I believe. More power to you. That one Falcon fan in the house. What's up, Unc? How you doing, brother? He said, regarding the schedule, I could low-key see us starting the season in New Orleans and ending it up against the Aints, Shanks in Atlanta. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. So you got me over here burping, man. Sorry about that. But listen, I wouldn't mind as long as the last Saint game is in Atlanta. I talked about this maybe a week or so ago. Seemed like the last couple of years they keep putting that Saints game, the last Saints game, in New Orleans. Let us get that last game in the ATL. Let us finish out the year with that. Yeah. Antonio, what's going on, Antonio? He said his favorite Stevie song is Superwoman. Boy, oh boy. I'm gonna tell you what. I can listen to that song all day long. That's probably easy and dependent. You know how it is when you have a favorite artist and sometimes your songs kind of go up and down. That particular song is probably one of my, one month it'll be number one, the next week it never falls lower than 3 or 4. But Superwoman is just genius if y'all ever listen to it. Great pick. Francis says, Stevie, I'll be loving you always. That's the song Ass from the Songs in the Key of Life album. That's a good one. And Someday at Christmas, again, when you start going back, man, dude put out one of the greatest Christmas albums of all time, like Someday at Christmas and One Little Christmas Tree, and That's What Christmas Means to Me. A lot of songs that you hear during the holidays, and you probably say, man, they wrote all those songs, man. Stevie was big time doing that. But that was a great Christmas album and a great Christmas song. He did Francis, he did a version of that with Andra Day. That was, if you ever keep up with her, the Rise Up lady, go back and look at that. That's actually really good. That one Falcon fan says best Stevie song is Superstitions. A lot of people kind of go in that direction. A lot of people, if you hear say favorite Stevie song, and I think the first thing that usually pops in people's mind is Superstitions, and I love Superstition, but I probably never considered it my favorite, but definitely one of his best. Chuck, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother? Good to see you in the house today. Appreciate you. He said, happy birthday to Mom, and appreciate you passing that on. Said, favorite Stevie songs are between Superstition and I Wish. Can't forget Master Blaster, Sir Duke, and Do I Do. Do I Do was a very nice cut back in the day. And you go back and look at those videos and how they used to make videos back then. Millie Mills, what's going on, sir? How you feeling today? Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge as y'all coming in today. Again, we just kind of have a potpourri of things we're talking about. We're talking about the Atlanta Falcons, still talking about the schedule, how the Falcons should open this year. Also, speaking about the NFL's first game is going to be Kansas City opening up defense of their title against the Baltimore Ravens on that first Thursday game of the year. And a couple of big-time contracts signed today. Jared Goff got a 4-year extension worth $212 million. For those who question the Kirk Cousins, how did he get paid that much? Because that's just what the market is, folks. Quarterbacks are going to get paid, bottom line. Barbara says, despite his disability, Stevie wrote, I know, at least 20 hits for other artists. What a talent. Not only wrote, but produced as well. I know Stevie, he wrote, co-wrote Tears of a Clown with Smokey Robinson. He also produced Loving You from Minnie Riperton. I'm trying to think. There's probably an obvious one I'm missing, but he has a lot of songs, absolutely, that he co-wrote and produced for other artists. Absolutely, he did. I remember he did that whole Jermaine Jackson, let's get serious. Boom, boom, let's get serious. He did that whole thing. So that was pretty good. Raymond Collins says, Love in Need of Love. I remember my pops jamming Higher Ground when I was a toddler. Higher Ground is a strong. That's one of his best albums ever. Inner Visions, that had Too High, Living for the City, Higher Ground, Golden Lady. Golden Lady is one of those with Superwoman that's in my rotation as well. That Love and Need of Love today, if you guys who have a memory when the 9/11 things happened and all of the musical stars came on, and I'm trying to think, was it either that night, the next night, or whatever it was, and they all came on TV. That was the song that led off the tribute. Love in Need of Love Today. He did that with Take 6, for those of you who remember. Lord ADS says, my Sherry Moore, man, oh man. He said, brother, I was a youngin' back in the 80s diapers, but I can remember even in the 90s, my people, old school, Stevie and James Brown had the barbecues. Absolutely. You can't go wrong with JB and Stevie at a barbecue. And my Sherry Moore, that's another one that never gets the credit that it deserves. It's just like you almost have to think like, oh yeah, Stevie did that too. Oh yeah, Stevie did that too. Just a whole bunch, man. Just embrace and at a point, you know, where embrace these guys like this. And I'm not trying to talk about the entertainers of today because the entertainers of today are what today's generation is. But man, oh man, we've lost a lot of greats over the years. We still got Stevie with us because I know Stevie started kind of young, but we don't have a lot, you know, with us today. So enjoy genius while we can. Barbara says, anyone got an incredible leads as to who we play week 1? Can't wait to see when we play Vegas. You know what, Barbara? So this was like a nightmare thought. You know, man, what if we end up with Vegas overseas? I was like, man, don't do that. I said, don't play. That would hurt my feelings. But yeah, I absolutely I have been looking. I'm looking for leaks. I can't find them. This is one of the tougher years because normally about 3 days before they actually come out with something, folks will already have the list. So maybe they're trying to get tighter on that. I remember last year when they actually did the schedule release. I mean, we knew the Falcons schedule before they officially released it last year, probably about 9 o'clock in the morning. People were already talking about what was going to be on. So that was crazy. David Stark says, you will know. Also, Steve. Oh, man. Oh, man. That song, that was a song from the album In Square Circle. No, that wasn't In Square Circle. That was the Skeletons album. That was the one with the Skeletons on it. And that song right there got me through the military, through basic training, not the military. Got me through basic training. That you will know. Really good video as well. And the lyrics. And that's the one thing about Stevie is not just the music from Stevie. I always say this. I've said this several times, and even probably on this podcast, where Stevie absolutely is. He is that the soundtrack of my life. Like I can go to a song, what it's talking about at a certain point in my life, and it can absolutely get it right there. And there are a few artists like that. I know the kids now, they got Beyonce and they have maybe even rappers. I don't know how, but they have folks that they can pinpoint times of their life to. So that's good stuff. My buddy Smitty is in the house. What's going on, Smitty? Smitty's from Smitty's Sports Machine. Y'all check my brother out on his YouTube channel doing things all the time. He says his favorites are, he said, Ribbon in the Sky is my favorite Stevie Wonder song. Happy birthday, Mama Johnson. And like I said, that's so thank you so much. She will appreciate that. We got married to Ribbon in the Sky. So to show you how deep that song is for me, that my wife and I walked down that aisle to, well, not only that, like we incorporated, is so weird. We incorporated 3 different versions of Stevie Wonder and Ribbon in the Sky into it. She got somebody to do that, but I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah. Francis says, yeah, I saw that video at Andre Day. Yes, that was that you talking about, and I love Andre Day. She is talented. Antonio says, Do I Do is a perfect song until that last unfortunate 1 minute and 5 seconds when he tried to start rapping. Yeah, listen, at that particular time, if you remember, you know, rap was kind of in its embryonic stages, and Stevie was going to throw his hand into it at that particular time. I'm not mad at him. That was a long song too. That was like the 10-minute version. That was not on it was a greatest hits. What is it called? The Music Aquarium. back in 82, I think, 1982, something like that. But yes, he did not. He doesn't need to worry about throwing his rap skills. We won't be getting a rap versus with Stevie Wonder versus anybody anytime soon, but that's all good. Billy Mills says, I think we got Kansas City week 2. That's the game I'm looking for the most. Want to see how we match up for real, and what better test than him to prove he's the right dude. Here's the thing about that, Millie. I would love to get Kansas City early. If you've noticed over the last couple of years with Kansas City, they've stumbled out of the block the last 2 years and kind of, kind of made their way through the middle and then end up turning it on as they always do in the postseason. So that wouldn't hurt my feelings to get Kansas City first at all. And you probably want to get the AFC games out of the way early. I don't think the NFL wants to see any interconference matchups after the holidays. They probably want to get those out the way. So that's why I'm kind of hoping, even with the Vegas game, that we can possibly get that if we get a chance to. That would be, yeah, Kansas City opening up the bins. Can you believe Kansas City opening up the bins? Because they're the best team in the last 5 years, I know, but I don't think Kansas City folks travel that well, or I don't know what the base is here. It's not like Pittsburgh, Dallas, Green Bay, where you have a built-in contingency there. Even when New England, the last time when New England came, it wasn't like it was slap full of Patriots folks. It was a lot. But Kansas City, first game in the bins, I could see that being good. Chuck says, I'm all fairness. My Stevie picks are from a horn player's perspective. I can imagine. Those songs are all super fun to play. On another note, I'm anxious about this Hawks not picking Sarr. I think they will. I think they're gonna pick him. What is your number one thing about the Hawks right now? Defense. And this young man seems to be a defensive stalwart. So if they don't pick him, maybe they're going to try to package that pick and do something else. But if you're the Hawks, you gotta try this. This could be something that maybe keeps Trey and DeJounte together. I doubt it, but it could be something that would keep them together. As much as I love Trey, I think because you're at a crossroads right now with the franchise, you'll probably get a lot more with Trey. I know everyone has probably been looking at the little things. I've seen the little rumor or scenario, Trey Young to the Spurs for the 4th and the 8th and another number 1 pick in 27. I don't see the Spurs being that desperate. But if the Spurs were to offer something like that for Trey Young, I'd take it in a heartbeat. And you still have the majority of your guys under lock and key, with the exception, I think, of Capella. I don't think Capella is. Lisa, how you doing, Lisa? Thank you for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Thank you for checking in with us, as always. Thank you so much. Robert says, are you going to Germany if we played there? I absolutely do not know. I went last year to the I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to move something on my phone. I went to the London game and we had a great time there with the London game. It was the weather wasn't bad. The crowd was amazing. Being in a different country is obviously a different feel. And it was supposed to be a Jacksonville home game, but to be quite honest, it was just kind of like a potpourri of all the NFL teams. It was great. Germany would intrigue me, seeing as how I spent 3 years there in the military. It's not like it's somewhere I haven't been before. And London was the same. It's not like I hadn't been to England as well. I've been there before as well. I don't know. It would be a coin flip. I truly talked to my wife and I and talking about it. Vegas is definitely number one as far as away games are concerned. But I don't know right now, Barbara. That to answer your question, it'll be a flip of the coin at this point. But and then to also see at what time the game would be. They had international games pretty late this year. I think they went all the way like to week 7, 8, 9, didn't they? When they had those games. I know ours was early. We were the first international game, if I'm not mistaken, last year. Because Jacksonville actually stayed in England and played the next week. So yeah, I say half and half. I'm not sure. John says, Uncle Steve, how about let's open up with Tampa on the road, New Orleans on the road, Carolina on the road for the first 3 games. I would not mind getting the division road games out early as possible. Last year we got the division road games. We did the home games early last year. Obviously, we started the season with Carolina. New Orleans was a few games after that, and then we went on the road for Tampa. And yeah, I like anything that's gonna put our home games late this year. I would love to get the home games later in the season as opposed to finishing up. Because if I remember correctly, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, didn't we get 4 of the last? I'm sorry. Yeah, 4 of the last 6 were on the road last year. I know we had the Colts here, but we went to Carolina. And I can't remember what the game was before Carolina. But whatever that was, that game, the Carolina game, and then we ended up with the disastrous Chicago, New Orleans last year. So, yeah, you're not going to get me at all to sign up for another away expedition late in the year. I've told people, again, I really think the best game to start off with, let's go ahead and get that Minnesota game out of the way. It's going to be a lot of intrigue. Let's get that one out the way. Let's get the road games out the way. Make it a home heavy end this year, so we can make that playoff run and get that first home game in the dome. My brother Dexter Owens is in the house. What's going on, brother? He said, I think we deserve at least 4 primetime games this year. We need to open up against Dan Quinn and his Commanders. We need to open up against a new head coach, but more than likely division game. I'm not so 100% sure. I know we did that last year with Carolina. Quite honestly, you know why I think we started with Carolina last year? I think because we weren't fancy enough. I don't think we were the fancy team. I'm looking right quick. Let me do something just for a second. The schedule last year for I'm trying to see schedule. If I go back to the beginning, week 1 last year, I'm trying to see how many division matchups there were. You know what? Actually, there were a few. But as far as the NFC South was concerned, Tampa got to go to New Orleans. I mean, Tampa got to go to Minnesota. Tennessee went to New Orleans. And I was looking, I guess there were a lot more division games before I speak out of turn. I guess there were a lot more division games than I thought. Because you had Carolina, us, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Jacksonville, Indy, Vegas, Denver, Dallas, New York. So you had a few. But I think they set us up like that this year. But I would love to get Minnesota. I would love to get Minnesota. Barbara says, I think we definitely open up on the road. We've been at home a lot the past few years, beginning of the season. Yes, because we opened up against New Orleans. That was the game we lost at the end. We had New Orleans and then let them off the hook. But yeah, I would not mind us going on the road and starting things off. So that wouldn't hurt my feelings. JJ the Great is in the house. What's up, JJ? He said, "I Wish" is my favorite song of my favorite musician, Stevie Wonder. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Absolutely, brother. "I Wish" is a really good song. He's talking about that and his when he was younger, and he said he was at a picnic and he got a chance to just sit down and just start writing down things. I mean, you think about the talent that guy has. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. My brother Rusty's in the house. What's up, bro, Rust? He said, "What's up, Steve? I would like to open with a division game." He said Minnesota will definitely be an away primetime game for obvious reasons. Well, I agree. I think it'll be primetime. Listen, the NFL right now, for whatever reason you want to hear, what aside of Kansas City repeating, what has been kind of a polarizing story this year for everyone? It's been the Falcons. First, it was we paid all this money for Kirk Cousins. Then we complicate the situation by picking Michael Penix. I think that Minnesota game will probably, if not Sunday night, I wouldn't be shocked if it's Sunday night or a Monday night game. And remember, they usually double up on the Monday night games at the beginning of the year. At least they have for the last couple of years. But it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if they did that for that. But the division games, Russ, I'm cool, but not the start of the year. Like, give me somebody intriguing. Kirk Cousins, the thought of Kirk Cousins is gonna make the Falcons a little bit more prime time. So, Kelvin, what's going on, Kelvin? How you doing, sir? He said, "What's up, y'all? Call me crazy, but I want the Bucks first and last." We got to start giving the Bucks some love, man. As far not as fans, but as far as when is the last time you've seen the NFC South team win 3 division titles in a row? I don't even think in New Orleans' little run with Drew Brees, I don't think New Orleans won 3 NFC Souths in a row. I don't think they did. I could be wrong. But Tampa Bay, as bad as our division is, give them credit. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I really want to mess with Tampa right now. I even though Kelvin, they'll probably have Atlanta Tampa as a possible primetime game as well. And he said Stevie Wonder songs he has on here. He says, "You Will Know." That's another vote for "You Will Know." And that's love that song. And "Lately." And of course, "Ribbon in the Sky." "Lately" is another hit. I know for those in the second generation, Jodeci redid "Lately" in the 90s. And it was a pretty good song. But that song originally, that was on the Hotter Than July album. And Stevie's version just stripped with just him and the keyboard and just his voice. That version, undeniable. Casey and JoJo can put all the vocal theatrics on it as much as they want, but Stevie took that one home. Keenan, what's going on, Keenan? He said, "I want that Saints revenge game as fast as possible." Look, I know it's probably an urge to get that done. The Saints are going to be the Saints for us, but I'm really not concerned about the Saints this year. And when I say that, I always want to beat the Saints down, and I always want to, like put the muscle to them. But for me, I don't know. I got bigger fish to fry. Y'all see that schedule? Kansas City, Las Vegas, the Chargers, Dallas, Giants, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. The Saints, they'll always be the Saints, and they'll always be our rival. But this year, man, I'm trying to beat some teams that'll really give us some recognition this year. Beating the Saints, splitting with the Saints like we did last year, not doing anything for our profile. But I get it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not dumb. Beating the Saints is beating the Saints. Antonio says, man, a late October trip to Vegas would be sweet. I'm kind of in that wheelhouse right there, Antonio. Probably like maybe the last 2 weekends of October. And not that, I mean, Vegas will get cold on you. Matter of fact, the second to last time we went to Vegas, it actually snowed, which is, kind of weird. But yeah, maybe that second and third week, maybe going into, I guess, Halloween, that would be good. Billy says, only thing I want is for Kurt to be on the field week 1 through 17. I can live with that. If Kirk Cousins stay healthy, look, I know the conspiracy theorists are going to want, Michael Penix. Michael Penix will be fine. Michael Penix will be okay. Let him learn. Let him sit. Let him soak up. And to Millie's point, hope and pray that we can keep Kirk Cousins healthy, because I really feel if we keep Kirk healthy, playoffs are on the docket, no doubt. Rusty says, okay, then give me Pittsburgh coming to the A for week 1. Okay, I can live with that. Would love to give arrogant Arthur Smith an L to start the season. I would definitely like that. If we could, the Arthur Smith game is going to be very interesting, because he's going to want his revenge. But yeah, to beat Arthur down would be lovely. Lovely, lovely. Barbara says it would be a dream come true to play in the Super Bowl at the Aints Dumps Stadium and win. And remember, the last time we actually had an opportunity to do that, that was the 2012 season. Of course, the unfortunate loss to the San Francisco 49ers. We were so ready that year. We went to the championship game, whole family. Went up there, and I'll tell you, after not to bring up bad memories, it's just as bad as 2017 to me. But going up there and 17-0 against San Francisco, and you just said to yourself, we are actually going to do this. And oh, goodness gracious. Dexter says, send Kurt to Minnesota week 1 prime time. Yep. They say we tampered, send him back to defend on his old turf. After we win, look in the camera and say, you like that? Oh, man. Kurt didn't have a very bad cutoff there. It sounded like the coaches wanted him, but the team was ready to go in another direction as far as that was concerned. So, but I do believe in that, Dexter. I was telling Rusty when he was talking about the division game, but even Rusty's Pittsburgh game coming here or the Minnesota game going there, either one would be nice. I guess if I had a choice, I'd like to get those away games. I like to go heavy away games at the beginning for a change. So I'll live with that one. Chuck says, I'm with you, smashing the Aints and moving on to bigger fish. There you go. Yeah, and by no means is this saying the Saints Falcons rivalry is any different. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but the only thing we're playing for is to play the Saints this year, then we got other fish to fry. I remember the 2016 year. If y'all remember, we had already clinched the division going into the finale against the Saints when we were closing out the Georgia Dome. And for some reason, it's always great to beat the Saints, but for some reason, the importance of that game was just not there for me. It wasn't. Did I want to beat them? Yes. And then when we 31-10 at halftime or whatever it was, that made me feel better. But at the end of the day, we were trying to get to the playoffs and win. And there was no thought of the Saints beating up on Seattle and mollywhopping Green Bay a couple of weeks afterwards. So yeah, I'm right with you. Kelvin says, for all his stats, let's not forget the Vikings started 0-4. Yeah. Wonder how long Kurt's leash is in Atlanta. That's a very good question. I hope and pray that I hope we don't have to answer that question. We have on paper the easiest schedule in the NFL again, but keep in mind that's only because the NFC South has been so putrid. And on top of that, it's not like the NFC has been super great as well. I just feel like I just think with Kurt at the helm this year, I think we really have an opportunity to take advantage of some of that stuff we didn't do last year. Some of the just the small things, man. There was so many small things in those losses. Detroit, just I know our buddy who's in Arizona was green, but you throw them out there. If you throw them out there, you gotta have them ready, which is another reason why I'm not in a rush to throw Penix out there. Get out there and you know, let's get behind Kurt, man. I know he was paid the money. I know people didn't like it, but it didn't come out of my pocket. Let Kurt be Kurt. Do his thing and lead us to 4 more wins than we had last year. Dexter says, man, we need to start off playing either new coaches, rookie, quarterback. You don't want got cut off there, Dexter. But okay, I wouldn't mind starting off with the Commanders. I wouldn't mind that. I would not mind that at all. But I'm also kind of like somebody said earlier, I wouldn't mind testing out. Let's see what we look like against the Kansas Cities of the world early. Let's see what we look like against the Philadelphia early, even though Philadelphia kind of fell off last year. But let's see what we look like. Let's see what we look like against Dallas early. Kind of put the measuring stick out there. It's nothing like fooling yourself for a couple of games, win a game against Carolina, and at that time win a game against Green Bay. That, it's nice for the fans and it's good, but do you really get to test yourself and see how good you are? Bring on Kansas City. Bring on Dallas. Let's get them out the way. Rusty says, first game I ever went to in person was 2020 in Charlotte on Thursday Night Football. It was actually Raheem's second game as interim head coach. Yeah. And we thought he was going to get the job that time as well, but he didn't. I remember that. Hey, we got a guest in the house one time for the fan. Y'all make sure y'all check my brother Jack Spade out in his merry band of guests on his show. Appreciate you, brother. He said it's that time to hit that like button, chat, rise up. I appreciate you, brother. I was watching. Y'all make sure y'all check him out, not only for great content on One Time for the Fan, but they have the Rise Up tour. And I'm one of those folks that I have gone to a lot of away games and every time I go, I always hear about them. And last year was one of the first times I actually got to see him in action and interacting with his group and doing his thing, man. Y'all make sure y'all check him out at One Time for the Fan. They've been talking about the Rise Up Tour. And look, after this schedule is coming out, man, I'm trying to beat Jack to the keyboard because I know he's trying to get tickets that I'm going to try to get. And I know he got more money than I do, and he's rich and he got all of that. So, you know, I gotta step my game up, but but I'll be fighting him for some of them away tickets to see what we can do. But y'all make sure y'all check it out. He also says, he said, the money didn't come out of my pocket. Preach, Uncle Steve. I don't know why people take that to such offense. Kirk Cousins got paid so and so and so, and I go to the mailbox and I'm looking for the bill that the Falcons sent me, and I don't ever see it. I never see the bill that says, "Oh yeah, Kirk Cousins, Steve, your amount is $16,000." I never see that. So don't worry about it. Y'all will be fine. We'll be just fine. Barbara says they may give us Commanders on the road with Dan Quinn. That's another one that we could, Barbara. You're absolutely right. I wouldn't mind that, though. That wouldn't hurt my feelings. And to somebody else's point, talking about probably playing either Jaden Daniels. Who's the veteran they got on that team? Just out of curiosity. Somebody help me out. No, I don't keep up with the Commanders like that. So not a Commander fan. Next it says we need to start off with a coaching team or a new coaching team or a rookie quarterback team. Give you time to establish yourself before playing a coach who's been there. I would even like to play the Chargers with week 1. I hear you, and I understand the philosophy that you're going by. I get that. But I'm also like this, Dexter. Just like Detroit last year, started the year with the defending champs, you need to find out. And remember, Detroit didn't make the playoffs the year before. What better way to find out where you stand by getting some of those games out of the way? I mean, yes, we have Dallas, the playoff teams, Dallas, Kansas City, of course, Tampa, Philadelphia. I don't mind. We should have no fear to try to play them. I get what you're saying completely, but get those guys out of the way, because guess what? They're all learning about each other. This year's Super Bowl team is going to be different from last year's Super Bowl team for Kansas City. Get them early. Swing while you can, while they're still getting to know each other. Let them make their run at the end, and we'll see them in New Orleans at the end of the year for the Super Bowl. Jack says the Rise Up Tour fan club. Yes, that's right. Every away game this season, party and events for all Falcon fans. Anyone need information, let me know. Rise Up. And again, definitely get in touch with Jack, and definitely subscribe to his YouTube channel. I was watching last night. Him and Terry doing their thing on there, trying to get their, events going. Please check him out and make sure if you get tickets before him, make sure you give them to me, because I don't want him to, just like, I'm in London and I'm in the cheap seats, and I go up there and I look in the highfalutin. I see Arthur Blank. I see the King Charles. I see the princesses and over there, and then right in the thing, because I can see, because it's like kind of really white, and then like, which of these kids don't belong? And I see Jack Spade up there with a cigar, sitting up there with all the rest of them, and then I'm saying, maybe we can't get them seats. I don't know, man. So y'all make sure y'all jump them tickets before Jack get his hand over it. No, for real, you make sure you get in touch with him for the Rise Up Tour, without a doubt. Make sure y'all hook up with him. Dexter says, when playing an established team early in the same conference, you can hurt late when determining playoffs. Play them when you're hitting your strides and playing good before struggling out of the gate. Now, Kansas City doesn't apply to that. I can almost hear what you're saying about a conference game. You're absolutely right. That could be an issue. But you're talking about Pittsburgh, Kansas City, intra-conference games. They're a loss, but they're not going to hurt you as far as NFC conference game. That's a very good point. You've kind of swayed me on that particular side. So I hear your argument. Rusty Moore says, I don't need to state the obvious, but Michael Penix puts some wicked velocity on the ball. Sheesh, it looks different from the Matt Ryans and Kirk Cousins of the world. I'm going to tell you a little secret, Rusty. I'm going to tell you a secret. Michael Penix may be the most talented quarterback we've had here in 20 years. Hear me out. Maybe one of the most talented quarterbacks we've had. Does that mean we throw him out there day one and let him struggle and do? No, I'm not saying that. I want him to develop. I want him to get the feel. I want him to hold the Microsoft Surface. I want him to sit there and learn the game. One of the mistakes that we're finding out time and time again with all these rookie quarterbacks, see 2021, is that we throw them out there and we think it's going to stick, and it doesn't. Do I absolutely think Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Matt Jones are completely trash? Okay. Not exactly. They might not be they might not have been ready those first 4 years, but they could be, a little bit like Geno Smith. They could be. I'm as great as those highlights look, Rusty. Let them wait, brother. Let them wait. Dexter, what's going on, brother? How you doing, sir? He said, what's good, Unc? I'm with you. Let them juggernaut teams first, because if you want to build steam, that's a great way to do it. You've proven, battle tested. That's my philosophy. I get where your other namesake is saying. I absolutely get it. But especially early in the season, if you're gonna get the struggles out of the way, get them out of the way against the tough teams. So now when you go to the, I don't want to say sorry teams, but you want to go to the less talented teams, then you know how to do this thing and win. Jack said, I'm trying to live like country. Speaking of which, look who's in the house today. Big Low Country Sports, another outstanding, along with One Time for the Fan, another outstanding podcast. We got everyone in here. We had Smitty in here. We had Jack Spade in here. Now we got, we have absolutely the top echelon of content creators. If y'all talk about the Maybachs of the content creator world, you're talking about the Mercedes of the content creator world. If you're talking about that type of person, you're talking about Uncle Steve. No, I'm just playing. You're talking about Big Low Country. You're talking Big Low Country Sports. Y'all make sure y'all check my buddy out and see what's going on, man. Lower ADS, what's going on? He said that was done intentionally. They were trying to weed us out, ended up doing more damage to their own. That could be true. Absolutely. I do feel like when if we circle back to the schedule thing real quick, looking at in the two divisions we play this year, which is the NFC East and the AFC West, the names traditionally look daunting. The Raiders, the Broncos, the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the formerly Redskins, the Commanders, and who am I leaving out? Who did I say? Cowboys, Eagles, Commanders and Cowboys. But I really feel like if y'all look at those 8 teams this year, I say again, are you Kansas City notwithstanding? You can't call the 2-time Super Bowl champions slugs. The Chargers lost a lot of folks this year, y'all. They lost a good. Eckler's not there. Keenan Allen's not there. They lost some folks. They still got a couple of pieces on defense if they can stay healthy. But they lost a lot of people. The Broncos, they're restarting things up. And then the Raiders, folks, just because they beat Kansas City, they built that whole Antonio Pierce, who I like, but they built that whole Antonio Pierce campaign on we're the Kansas City Chiefs killers. I'm like, okay, but y'all were still 7-10 at the end, right? When they 7-10? Oh, did they end up better? Hold on, let me make sure I'm not selling them short. What did they end up? No, they were 8-9, which I mean, not much better. But it's not like that's daunting, the AFC schedule. And then you talk about the NFC East coming into the year, like, oh man, the Giants, oh my goodness, and all that. But I'm looking at Dallas. Dallas was kind of exposed a little bit, right? Dallas had like a kind of a weak schedule, and against real teams, they got exposed. The Eagles losing a lot of people, getting older. Is Jalen Hurts a flash in the pan, or is he for real? I think Jalen Hurts is going to come back. I think he wasn't healthy. The Giants, I mean, come on. And then the Commanders, who I think Jaden Daniels is going to be nice, but I'm just not sure they're that ready, in my opinion. I don't think they are. Kelvin says, I feel that I would get Kansas City and Philly early as possible. And then I don't even know, Kelvin, when you start talking about the NFC East, I mean, who do you like in NFC? Dallas Eagles, who I'm assuming are going to be the favorites. I mean, Dallas is Dallas as good as advertised? I mean, we go through this all the time. Dallas is the New York Yankees of football. I mean, no matter what the season, whatever, they're always going to be put on this higher pedestal. Always. But is Dallas really that good this year? You know? And Philadelphia came back to earth, especially near the end of the year. They didn't have that many people hurt. No. Lord ADS says, Canna, Green Bay left them bare. Look, man, I'm here to tell you, I think from a standpoint of competition, Atlanta is in a really good place. I am extremely eager to see what is going to be on tap for let's see what's on tap for this year. My buddy Bigelow coming out and say, y'all know oh, I see what he trying to try me. You know what? I got something for you.
Isn't it lovely? Isn't it wonderful? The Falcons are ready. Let's get that Super Bowl. I appreciate the Super Chat.
You don't know you don't know anything about that, Bigelow. And yes, I did have a superstition ready.
Uncle Steve was with you. Read your Super Chat. Talking about these Falcons. Hoping they can back. Get us to the Super.
So don't try me, Mr. Lowe. Mr. Lowe. Don't try me, sir. Y'all know Up thinking is Stevie Wonder. Can we get a superstitious cover? You got it. You got it. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you as always. El Capitan is in the house. What's going on? He said, we really are in a great spot to compete with the best of them. Rise up. And that's my thought. I would like to hear from the normally pessimistic Falcon fan a reason that we can't win this year. I would like to hear. Tell me a reason why the Falcons can't win with the roster moves we've made this year. And quite honestly, pretty much gathering up some of the best quarterback talent out there this year. Between starter and backup, we got to be in the top 10 as far as starter and backup at quarterback. We got to be. Big Love says, voice is kind of cracky, but I'll take it. Yeah, right. Listen, let me tell you something. Jealousy, man. Jealousy is a strong emotion, man. Sometimes you gotta be careful, man. That jealousy will get to you. You got to throw this down, see what's going on. Low is, I don't know what he's thinking about. But he couldn't bring up anything for Stevie Wonder. He couldn't get his Stevie Wonder voice up there as well. But anyway, folks, I appreciate everyone joining us here tonight. It has been a great show. It has been a great chat. Thank you so much for joining me. We are here on Mondays for the Monday Minutia, Fridays for Friday Brunch, and we've added the Sunday Chill, normally at 6 p.m. So y'all make sure y'all check me out on the channel. I appreciate everyone joining us. If you haven't subscribed, I see a lot of new folks in here. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button for us. Tell us about the friends. Thank you so much, Lord ADS. I appreciate you. And tell your friends about it, man. Let's get this Falcons momentum started a little bit early this year so we can ride that bad boy all the way out until the first game of the season. Until then, man, I appreciate y'all joining us. Thank you so much. Join me on Friday for the Friday brunch. Y'all take care of yourself.